All right, it's time to take a coffee break. I think we could use one. We're starting with a dating habit making its way now to the workplace.
Yeah, okay, we've all heard about people getting ghosted and left hanging by matches on dating apps, but now job seekers are doing the same thing to companies.
Ghosting?
This is crazy, you guys. 75% of workers have ignored a prospective employer in the past year,
wow.
and Gen Z is leading that charge. 93% of them admitted to flaking on an interview.
Wow.
More than 80% said that of the 3,000 people surveyed by Indeed said they've also left companies stranded on their first scheduled day of work and just not shown up. Can you believe those numbers?
No.
When asked why they do this, most people said it makes them feel in charge of their career.
No.
Okay.
Others said it's common for employers to ghost them on job applications, so it's okay for them to do it back.
Payback,
This is just unbelievable to me.
I think of so many job interviews that we've had to go on where
Yes.
you're like, just so like, I hope that I get hired in Tuscaloosa.
Yes.
Right.
You know, like, and then you leave and it's like, oh, I didn't get the job.
But I have had a lot of, like in the news, there's breaking news that comes up, and a lot of people do kind of just cancel the interview or flake or push it back. But I never thought of doing it back to them.
No.
I mean, Paul, you have older kids that are Generation Z. What do you?
Yes, I don't know what the dates are.
What
What I
teach
would
them?
say to someone who's considering doing that is that might be the job that you really want 10 years from now.
Right.
That you just completely torched that trail by making one decision. So I don't know. I just think that they're not
to
thinking.
send an email or something.
Right. Just
Or
be
text
classy and say no properly.
Well,
It's
but
disrespectful. For
that's
sure.
where I think, though, I feel that as a society, the young kids these days,
Pretty much, yeah.
They're very short-sighted. Like I'm not seeing anybody think about the long game in really
Absolutely.
much of anything. And I don't know if that's because they're just on their phones and their attention span's short. They watch everything on YouTube, but
I mean, there has to be, something going on because it's definitely different from how we were raised. And
it's also a little entitled, right? To say,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
people have done it. They do it to other people, so I'm just going to do whatever I want because it makes me feel in charge.
yeah, and they all, follow the leader. So one person does it and then take
It
off.
becomes the norm.
oh boy.
Well,
Some companies clash with their workers over return to work policies. SurveyMonkey is leaving the choice up to them. Fortune magazine recently wrote about the online survey tool company's approach, revealing the flexible work model is paying off for workers and the company too, it turns out. In an internal survey, employees said choosing where they work improved their work experience. And it shows. SurveyMonkey reported a 62% decrease of workers leaving the company since introducing flexible work. And productivity for sales representatives went up by 66% as well.
I think it's one of those things where if you have the metrics and it works, keep it. If it's not working, ditch it. Right?
most
And it
of my
might vary
friends,
from company to company too. It might, if it's not sales oriented, then you might need to be back at the office.
Yeah.
If it is sales oriented, get out and go sell stuff.
Well, my mom was a salesperson, and I just remember for years, I thought everyone's parents worked at home.
Yeah.
But she was like the only one at the time who worked from home. But she'd set up lunches and clients and be, she'd go out, but then she could do everything else from the house, which was great.
Yeah, it amazes me. Most of my friends work from home, and they love it. And they love their job, and they love the freedom to be able to do it. And I think they do hybrid, going 1 to 2 days. So I think that's a nice balance. I mean, if we wanted to have a career, we could work from home. We wouldn't be in news. So it's like you get to choose what you want.
Well, that's true too.
So, but hey, I get it.
This is I'm not sure if you've seen some of the videos coming out from some of the schools and colleges, what they're doing to entice players to go there. Some football teams and colleges are shelling out millions of dollars for the locker room.
Really?
To impress potential. Look at this. I want to live there. A Business Insider report broke down some of the upgrades that top schools are making, from custom designed lockers at TCU, Texas Christian, to ventilation systems for equipment at University of Texas
I was
at
going to
Austin.
ask, we don't know how these smell, but if there's a ventilation system,
Ventilation,
it
you're
must
all
be
good.
okay.
There's a foosball table. I just saw lounging areas
How
at Vanderbilt
fun.
University, bowling alley, arcades. Clemson and Ohio State have arcades. These schools are some of the top feeders to the NFL. And of course, there's the NIL money, which is a whole nother thing.
Yes, that is.
But these kids get multiple offers, so you want to show off your best foot to get them to go to your school, and you're basically making the locker room a paradise.
This reminds me of when all those companies, the startups had you can come here and you can have breakfast, and then at night you can have beer, and then you can do an arcade game.
That means you're there all day.
You gotta be competitive. And if it takes, building this facility, I mean, why not?
And making people comfortable in the workplace. Maybe fewer people would be dying to work from home if their workplace was comfortable and enjoyable like that.
Like that, yeah.
If we had a gym in the basement here, I'd be here all the time.
There's one in the lot.
I know, I go to it.
Yeah, I know, but it's not as fancy, right?
Well, I also had to walk there in the rain yesterday. It was like a wet rat by the
Hey,
time I
at
got
least you
there.
did it.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
proud
you.
of you for that.
Thank
Are you guys Justin Timberlake fans?
Not anymore.
Yes, so, okay. Well, anyways, I hope Justin Timberlake, he's slowing things down for his next track on his 6th studio album. Here's a little snippet tease for you.
Let me alone out in the dark with all of your demons. Got caught up in it.
All right, the singer teased this new song he's releasing this Friday. It's called Demons, and it's not what fans expected because he previewed yet another song when he appeared on SNL about 3 weeks ago. Timberlake has been topping the charts since releasing his single Selfish back in January. After taking a long break in music, his new album, Everything I Thought It Was, is out March 15th. I mean, I'm a fan of him. I do love the Sexy Back and all those songs that he had back in the day. Those were a lot of fun. And I'm curious why you're not a fan anymore. Maybe that's a
I read
commercial break.
Britney's memoir, and I just have some feelings that I haven't sorted entirely through yet.
Well, there you go. He does have a lot of fans, though. So we'll see
He
what
definitely
happens.
does. I'm sure.
Minus
this will be
one.
great.
Minus one.
Minus
Yes.
He's doing okay.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
That's today's coffee break.
CBS News Los Angeles, your local news, streaming wherever, whenever.